Hello, McVeigh Dragons. Welcome to Mr. Thornley's music class, Volume 8. This is for 2nd grade. Okay? Hopefully, last week, as I asked you to check out my playing of You Got a Friend in Me and trying to figure out what you're hearing as far as harmony. Do you hear ostinato patterns? Do you hear chords? Do you hear something else? Well, we're going to look at that song and break it down a bit to see what you're hearing. Before we do that, let's start off first with a review. Our main focus, like I said, is harmony, and a melody without any harmony, with just chords, without any harmony at all, just a melody being sung or played. Doesn't matter how many people are singing or playing it. That would be monophonic texture. And as soon as I add like chords or an ostinato pattern or a combination thereof with my melody, then becomes homophonic texture. Okay? And let's figure out how chords are made. So review, we did this last week a little bit. So if I have a C chord, it's going to be C, starting the root note. I'm going to skip what letter? D. Hopefully you said that. Then go to E. Skip F and go to what letter? G. G. C, E, and G. Okay, a first, a third, and a fifth. 1, 3, and 5. Okay, so if I go to C chord on the piano, okay, here's C chords right here. And, all right, I'm just hitting C's, E's, and G's. And all that together is a C chord. All right, so if we want to make a G chord, we got G. We're going to skip A because the musical alphabet goes A through G and starts over. G, skip A, go to B. Skip what letter? C. Skip that and go to D. So G, B, and D. So I go to G chord. There you go. All G's, B's, and D's. They're all up and down here. I can play them all over the place. It's G chord. If I play a note like this, if I play them one at a time, see, that will be an arpeggio. Okay? Arpeggio. If I play it all at once, it's called a block chord. All right, so chords, that's how they're made. Ostinatos are a pattern that repeats. And last week I played this ostinato pattern for you on the guitar, I believe. It's a very simple one. It's in a lot of songs. Okay? In fact, that ostinato pattern is in the song we're doing with You Got a Friend in Me. First, though, it starts off with this introduction. Hit the wrong note there. Did miss one note there too. But anyway, what you heard was basically chords with his hand. I did have this little arpeggio of the chord, of an E flat chord. And then I did this. Let's see, I went, and that's a little blues note there, off of what's called a blues scale. I'm not going to worry about that, but just it's a little extra here. Okay? But it's basically chords with his hand. Well, this hand's doing bass note chord. That's called stride piano. When you do a bass note down low and come up and do a chord with that left hand. Okay? So we did a combination of those two things together, which does take a little time to put together for the introduction. And then it ended with your, I'm doing a tremolo on the chord, like this. For chords with this hand, but I'm doing a tremolo, rapid playing there on those. And then it starts off with, that's the A section. And it's not just an introduction because it keeps coming back in the song. Then we have the actual singing part, really like the B section. Okay, there's a lot going on right there. I start off with this. On the ostinato pattern on this hand, well, this hand's playing off the chords with a little, also melody notes. Then you have this thing. That's a little, what's called a fill. It's basically off the scales, and I'm what's called double stops. Double stops, I didn't even tell my older kids this. Double stops is 2 notes at the same time. All right, partial chords. It does that. But it's a little, what's called a run too. And then it ends up with this. A little, what's called walking bass, and it's off the scale. You know how we listen to steps, these repeated notes, and we did the steps from the bottom step to the up step. Well, in there, that's a scale, and this is using notes from the E flat scale, from the key E flat, which you don't really know, but just know I'm in a certain key, okay? And I'm using that scale. So in that introduction, I have this, B section, I have this nice little ostinato pattern, very simple there. And then I have chords with some melody notes included, scale notes. And then I have this little fill, all right, made of 2 notes at the same time, each time. And then I have this little, all right, little walking bass. And all of it sounds nice, blending nicely. When you have chords and ostinato patterns mixed in with some scale stuff, little fills, you're going to have a nice piece to play. It's going to be fun. And it's going to sound good. All right? So that's the B section. Then it comes back to the introduction section, the A section. And then it goes A, B, and then it does something different. It goes to a C section. And this right here comes back again on the C section. Some of the folks might be a little bit small. So you hear this. You know, oh, it goes, and then it just changes the starting note because you're doing a different chord, but same pattern. Say, say, and then, oh, scream! I did the wrong notes there. Start to here. Sorry about that, guys. Turn this back on. I got a little brain wasn't thinking right there for a bit. So it goes like this. Same run as down here, starting point, but it's up here now. And then it goes still that same little ostinato, but then a little change because you're changing chords here, and then it goes back into the B section. Another little nice little bass run. Goes into the B section again, and then it goes into the A section at the end. That part where it goes. And then I did a little bit of what's called blues scale and a tremolo. I'm going chords here. Okay, so I mix it up. All right, it's mixed up. You mix in the chords with some scale notes in there, little what's called fills or runs. You got the bass line, walking bass in there, extra. That's what adds the interest to the music. All right, there's a lot of harmony going on in that piano right there, as I sang the melody, and I even had melody notes included in the chords for the most part. So, but that was like a lot of harmony. So I want to get right now real quick to play a few things for you, either chords or ostinato. You tell me what you think you hear. So if I did this, I'm going to do this one. How if I did this? You know I'll know this song. All right, that's just part of it. Mr. Thornley doesn't know the whole song, but that's part of it. Charlie Brown, right? Linus and Lucy, it's called. All right, now that has chords or ostinato. It's an ostinato, right? And over top of that, you got chords mixed in with a melody. They're like double stops again. Two notes at the same time, but they're all part of the chord. So, bum, 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 bum. Over top of that, which sounds really neat. All right, so chords, ostinato patterns is our main focus. Listening for those. I want you to listen to your music that you normally listen to, songs that you like, and try to pick out where the guitar player is playing chords or playing an ostinato pattern. What's the bass player playing? Playing an ostinato pattern? All right. In rock and roll, they call that a riff. An ostinato pattern is called a riff. When you play a pattern, it's over and over, made of a couple notes, whatever. But anyway, in traditional music, we call that, in classical, they would call that an ostinato. So listen for ostinato patterns. Listen for chords. Listen for anything you think a walking bass or fills in the music. Okay? That's your lesson, homework this week, I guess you should say. Listening for that stuff. Okay? So our main focus is harmony. In the near future, I will have you guys work on what's called polyphonic texture. That's when you have more than one melody in the same song. We won't work a lot on that. I'll wait till you get to older grades, but a little bit. If I had overlapping melodies, and in order to have a melody's got to have phrases. So you know a melody part if it's got phrases, and we talked about that. If you have more than one melody in the same song, each melody creating harmony for the other melody by overlapping and blending, okay, that is polyphonic texture. And there's 3 ways to make that. I'm not going to get too much into all that for you guys this year, but we'll talk about it a little bit. So anyway, be safe, practice social distancing, be kind to your parents, be helpful around the house. Until next time, have a good day. Do your best.